What happened to the shifting cultivators? We are going to see. The British people, they wanted tribal groups to settle down and become the peasant cultivators. Why? They want to collect the maximum tax. Settled peasants were easier to control and administer than the people who were always to move. And British people also wanted a regular revenue source for the state. That is the major reason they want to get revenue. They don't want to administer or to do something for the people of this tribal people. And so they introduced land settlement, that is they measured the land, defined the right of each individual to the land and fixed the revenue demand for the state. What they are doing, they are fixing the land with some person's name and they are asking revenue from the land. That also they fixed. Some peasants were declared landowners, others tenants. Some of the peasants they become the landowners, some other people they become the workers. And as you have seen chapter 2, the tenants were to pay rent to the landowners, who in turn paid revenue to the state. The landowner will pay the tax to the revenue to the state. For that the tenants want to pay to the landowner. What they want to pay? Rent they want to pay. The British effort to settle Jum cultivators was not very successful because they are not familiar with like that settled life and other things. So it was not that much successful. Settled plough cultivation is not easy in the area where water is scarce and the soil is dry. In some area where the people was living, that area water was not available every time. It may be for 3 months, 4 months it may be available, and the soil was very dry. In fact, Jum cultivators who took to plough cultivation often suffered since their field did not produce good yield, because that area was not like that. That's why they was not getting enough product. So the Jum cultivators in the northeast insisted on continuing with the traditional practice. The northeast people, they continued their traditional practice of Jum cultivation or shifting cultivation. Facing widespread protests, the British had to ultimately allow them the right to carry on the shifting cultivation in some part of the forest. In some part of the forest they can do, another part it is made like we can see plantation work, like that things they started. Here the picture it is given, tribal workers in a rice field in Andhra Pradesh. Not the difference between the rice cultivation in the flat plain in the forest, how they are cultivating the in between the area of the flat plain area, they are between the mountains, they are cultivating rice. And we can see here another one picture, Bill women cultivating in the forest in Gujarat. Shifting cultivation continues in many forest areas of Gujarat, and you can see the trees had been cut and the land cleared to create the patches of the cultivation. We can see the trees, it is cutting, they cut that trees, that area there is no trees, other areas we can see trees, and they made that land for the cultivation purpose. So now we are moving to next one, forest law and their impact. British people, they made different forest law and how the tribal people they suffered, we are going to see. And one word it is given, sleeper, the horizontal plank of the wood on which railway lines are laid. The sleeper means in sleeper coach we know the horizontal planks of the wood on which the railway lines are laid. The railway lines, they are, in older days we was making with the help of wood, and nowadays it is with the help of iron bar or even concrete bars we are making. Okay, the forest laws and the impact. The life of the tribal groups, as you have seen, was directly connected to the forest. Each and everything they was collecting from the forest. Even cultivation, even hunters and gatherers, and everyone was directly depend on forest. So changes of the forest law had a considerable effect on the tribal life. We can see that there was a considerable change in the forest tribal people life according to the new. So the forest people, they become they started to suffer because of this forest law. The British extend their control over all forests and declared all that forests were a state property. Means what the forest law of the British, and the forest was directly under the control of British government, or the government said like that it is the property of the state. Some forests were classified as reserved forests, for they produce timber which the British wanted. The British people, they needed timber, means wood, big wood. For that purpose they made some of the forests as a reserved forest. For that purpose only I said about the sleeper what it is, because they want to get the hardwood to make the railway lines. In these forests, people were not allowed to move freely. They can't go inside, practice jhum cultivation, collect fruits or hunt animals. In the reserved forest, we can't enter and we can't use it. Even for hunting also we can't use. And how were the jhum cultivators to survive in such situation? Many were therefore forced to move to another areas in search of work and livelihood, where they was getting a big trees and shade for their cultivation and other things they lost, and they moved to another areas. But once the British stopped the tribal people from living inside forests, they faced a problem. Means when the British people, they said like that, don't live in the forest, come out like that, they face many problems. Both group, British as well as the tribals problems we are going to discuss. Then from where would the forest department get its labor to cut trees for railway sleepers and to transport logs? The the forest people, they was helping the British, and they was not, now they send out of the forest, so nobody was not there to work for British. And the people, those who came and settled outside, they also become like a fish out of the water in that situation. Without proper livelihood, they don't know how to cultivate and other things. Then colonial officials came up with a solution. They decided that they would give jhum cultivators small patches of land in the forest and allow them to cultivate these on the condition that those who lived in the village would have to provide labor to the forest department and look after the forest. Then last, the British people, they are coming with a solution. They will give, means they are ready to give some areas to the jhum cultivators. For what? And the condition they want to obey like that, they want to help the British people or the forest department, and for the looking after the forest as well as cutting and loading the wood. So in many regions, the forest department established forest villages to ensure regular supply of cheap labor. That's why they are getting the cheap labor, because they are getting land for cultivation. So people was very happy. At the same time, British also started to get cheap labor. And in source 2, in this land on the British, how hard it is to live, how they are understanding. Afterwards, when they joined, that time they understood that one. In 1930s, Verir Elwin visited the land in the of Baigas, the tribal group in central India, and he wanted to know about them, their custom and their practice, their art and folklore. He recorded many songs that lamented at the hard time of the Baigas were having under British rule. They started to make new songs because of the hard life under the British rule, and this was chanting that songs, or they was singing that song like really crying and singing. Lamenting means in the pain they are singing. If somebody is dying, that time we can know, we can see the people, they are saying some words, as the same time they are crying. One poem is given: in this land of the English, how hard it is to live, how hard it is to live. In the village sits the landlord, in the gate sits in the kotwar, and in the garden sits the patwari, and in the field sits the government. Means those who are holding the power over them, the tribal people, they are saying about them. In this land of the English, how hard it is to live. To pay cattle tax, we have to sell cow. To pay forest tax, we have to sell buffalo. To pay land tax, we have to sell bullock. And how are we to get our food? in this land of English. They are crying and saying or started to chant in the when they are getting the hard time. They sitting together and crying and chanting these words like this, how they can live, and even though to pay tax they want to sell their things, then how they will find out their food, like that they are used to lament. That he heard and he taken that one. Then quoted by Elvin and Shamrao Hivale, Songs of the Michael, page number 316, from where the this song taken, like that it is given. And the life of the tribals after forest law we are continuing. Many tribal groups reacted against the colonial forest law. Many people started to fight against. They disobeyed the new rules, continued with the practice that were declared illegal. What all things the government said illegal, they started to practice that one because disobeying that one. And at the time rose in open rebellion. Sometimes they came with open rebellion also. Such was the revolt of the Sangram Sangha in 1906 in Assam, and the forest satyagraha of 1930s in the central province. In a different area, two examples it is given. In Sangram Sangha they are Sangram Sangha in Assam, they are came with a revolt or rebellion. Then again in forest satyagraha by the central province in 1930s. Please underline each area and date and name. Then Godwara women weaving, the ladies they are weaving the dress, and that we can the tribal dresses what they want, they are making they are weaving. And problems with the trade. Okay, we'll continue in next video with the problems with the trade.